What's up guys, my name is Aaron, and today I'm going to be reviewing the show Gilmore Girls. This is a comedy drama show created by Amy Sherman-Palladino, and it stars Lauren Graham and Alexis Bledel. It basically tells a story of this single mother, Lorelai, who's played by Lauren Graham, and her teen daughter, Rory, who's played by Alexis Bledel. Kind of interwoves the story of Lorelai and her parents, and then kind of tells the story of like upper class privilege and kind of that rich society, and kind of like the contrast between Lorelai and that lifestyle. And it also tells a story between Lorelai and Rory kind of interacting in Stars Hollow, this kind of weird town with these crazy people and stuff. I've heard a lot about the show. I never gave it a try until I heard that it was coming on Netflix. I was like, I kind of want to, see what the hype is about the show. Really like this show. I think it might not be like the best show ever, but I think it's one of the most enjoyable shows I've watched. I had a fun time watching it. I think it might be because I like shows about kind of weird towns and kind of getting to know like these like really weird people and stuff, like Twin Peaks, Parks Recreation, Broad City, Playing House, those type of shows. I really like kind of getting to know these weird people and stuff, so this was definitely up my alley. I also like the dramedy vibe of the show a lot. I like kind of it being funny most of the time, and then it having like serious moments as well. I feel like it handles that really well. But I think the most important thing is the tone or the comedy of the show. It's really specific. It's like very fast paced. It's very dialogue heavy. Like it almost feels like it's like a play or something. It doesn't really feel like a TV show. It's just very heavy on the dialogue and stuff. It's definitely like a writer show. Like you can tell that Amy Sherman-Palladino had her hand in a lot of what's going on in the show. It sounds like one singular voice all over the show. It's definitely influenced by old screwball movies like Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, like those type of movies. You can see the influence in the writing and stuff. And it's like peppered with pop culture references to movies, music, TV shows, just like pop culture in general. It's like every other line, it feels like they're making a reference to something like that. And I also like the town environment as well. I like whenever they go into the town, you get to see like these weird people and like what they're doing and stuff. I always really like that as well. And I feel like the characters are really specific and really well written. Lorelai is really funny. She has like this really good like reaction face, so whenever something's crazy happening, Lauren Graham just like reacts really weird, and I just like however whenever she does those type of scenes, like it's really funny. And like Lorelai also has a really dark sense of humor. She's like really sarcastic and stuff. Whenever somebody says something kind of serious to her and she just breaks attention, she always kills it. Like I just feel like Lauren Graham's comedic timing's just perfect, just spot on.
Hi, I'm bearing drugs.
Please don't bellow that.
Bellow what? Drugs?
Lorelai.
Yeah, I think the humor and the tone is really cool. It might not be for everybody, but I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was really enjoyable to watch, and I like how these characters kind of interplay off of each other. I feel like the characters, definitely one of the best things about this show, in my opinion. You have Lorelai, who has so much energy. She's like raised Rory since she was like 16 years old. And like as the show's like going on, you can kind of see that she's kind of put her life on hold, but she's still kind of flourishing in her own life. Like she's at the beginning of the show like a manager of an inn. And as the show is going on, you can kind of see her trying to get her own inn. She wants to own her own inn. And I just really like seeing that character. Like she's just so like resilient and just like such like a really positive, I guess, influence and stuff. And I like how naturally funny she is. Like she just kind of deflects and stuff off of serious situations, but when she is serious, like you really feel for that character because you feel so invested in her. And I feel like Lauren Graham is just like a really spectacular actress. She can just pull off really any type of promotion that the writers throw at her. And then Emily, Lorelai's brother, I just like how like uptight she is about Lorelai, like wanting her to do the things that Emily wants her to do, like in her own specific way and her own time. She's like very set in her ways and she doesn't really budge for anything. But like you can also see that the way that she acts is like kind of like a front, and she does really want to have like a really good relationship with Lorelai. And I just like how Kelly Bishop kind of underplays that. I feel like she does a really good kind of understated job with the role, and I really like that. And I feel like she's like really funny too. Like the comedic things with whatever she's doing is really good whenever she gets a chance to do that. But I think that Paris is probably my favorite character. She's like Rory's frenemy from school. At the beginning of the show, she's kind of antagonistic towards Rory. She's really like a force of nature. Like She doesn't care what she says at all. She's like in her own little bubble. She doesn't care that it might hurt people's feelings, that she might not have friends. She just is like in her own like bubble. She does not like care about what like what girls are talking about. She doesn't care about like what the normal like etiquette is or anything like that. I just like that character. She's just like a force of nature. But you can also feel that she has like a huge amount of insecurity about her. Like I would say between like the second or third episode, you could just kind of see that she wasn't really comfortable in herself. It's just really interesting to see kind of that character kind of develop throughout the show. I feel like Paris definitely has like the biggest character arc on the show, and it's really interesting to see how Liza Well, how she plays that character. She's just really good. I feel like it's kind of like not talked about how good she is, but she's really good in that role. And then kind of the central relationship in the show is really interesting too. I like that as well, between Lorelai and Luke. I really like this relationship. It's really cool to me. Lorelai is kind of like this like free-spirited, energetic person, and like Luke is like this kind of gruff, kind of world-weary dude. But the differences like make them really interesting to watch. As the show's beginning, Lorelai is just like a customer at Luke's diner. Like they just kind of talk and stuff like that, kind of casually and stuff. But as the show goes on, you can kind of see that they have like a lot of chemistry together, and you just kind of want them to be together. I like the way that you can kind of see that Luke kind of softens whenever he's around Lorelai. She's like probably the only person that can get him to do things and stuff, and I like that relationship a lot. It kind of reminds me, kind of like a modern version, it kind of reminds me of like Nick and Jess from New Girl. It's kind of that type of relationship, if that makes sense. I think that they are probably like my favorite like on-screen couple. I feel like those two have like a lot of chemistry together, and whenever they're on screen, it's just really interesting to watch. And I like the themes on the show as well. Like the more serious moments, like they use Emily and Richard, Lorelai's parents. They kind of show like they kind of tackle privilege, upper class, elitism, entitlement, and stuff like that. It's kind of over the tops at time, but I do like that the show attempts to do that, and it does really get into that. And I like the family stuff as well. It's just so like prickly and just feels so real, like the way that they tackle family and stuff, like how families actually interact. Yeah, I feel like the themes, whenever they do try to be a little bit more serious, it really works for me. I feel like it's mostly a comedy, but the drama stuff does work for me. These are some of the things I don't like about the show, or I feel like they could be tweaked a little bit. I feel like Alexis Bledel as Rory is just kind of wooden and stiff. I understand that this is like her first like major role ever. It's just like because the show focuses on Rory and Lorelai so much, you see Lauren Graham just being so naturally charismatic and stuff. And whenever Rory's there, she's like, I feel like Alexis Bledel's doing her best. It's just like she's like on another level of energy than Lorelai is operating on. I feel like Lorelai's just all the way up here, and then Rory's just kind of down here. It's just kind of weird to watch and kind of jarring, especially with like when she's interacting with like Lorelai or like Pear or something like that. They're always on like different wavelengths, and it's just kind of jarring at times. Another thing I don't like, and something that a lot of people do like about the show, is Rory's boyfriends on the show. I just feel like they just came across as like assholes or just dicks or just like unlikable. Like I don't know what they were thinking of when they did like these boyfriends. And I feel like Dean was just kind of boring. Like the first season they did try, but I feel like after like that season, they were just like, we don't care about this dude at all. But they just made him like very boring, just kind of like just a regular dude in the neighborhood. They just like completely just made him not interesting. Jess, I just feel like he just came out of the gates just like an asshole. Like he came from like a kind of childhood and stuff, and you can sense that. I just feel like he went out of his way to be antagonistic towards everybody on the show, and it was just not fun to watch. I feel like the actor that plays Jess is good. Like he's charismatic, but I feel like the role is just not good. As the show goes on, it gets a little bit better, but yeah, the majority of this character is just not likable to me. And then Logan, I feel like Logan just came across as like a pervy, skeevy asshole from his inception until he left the show. He just was like always like smirking and just like he just came across as really skeevy to me. Like he was just always plotting or something like that. He came off really weird. Like he came in hot. I listen to the podcast Gilmore Guys, and they make like comments about him being like the Joker, and it does make sense. Like he does seem like kind of like the Joker before he became the Joker. He's just really skeevy. It's just weird that they went with this character for Rory's kind of college years. It's just weird to me. I feel like the actor is doing a fine job kind of playing this like douche, if that makes sense. But yeah, this dude is like the worst. I don't understand. I would not want to be around this dude at all. If I had to choose, I would choose Jess because they did kind of soften his character a little bit, but I just wish for the next season they just kind of go away from those dudes and just kind of create somebody new that's like a normal person. These dudes are just kind of annoying to me. Overall, I do like. I guess I love this show. I like the weird screwball, old-timey humor and tone with the townies and stuff. I love how those people interact and stuff. Kirk is a really good character. I forgot to mention him, but Kirk is really funny. I like the interesting layered characters. Like they're not always as they seem on the surface. If you go a little bit deeper, they're interesting in their own way. I love the relationship between Luke and Lorelai. It's just really interesting to see, and I like how those two actors play off of each other and stuff. Definitely my favorite like on-screen relationship. And I like the overall themes of the show too, like how it tackles family, privilege, upper class elitism, things like that. I feel like it kind of handles it in like an over-the-top way, but it's still interesting to watch. I feel like Alexis Bledel's acting is kind of wooden at times, and it kind of makes me not invested in the storyline that Rory has. And I feel like Rory's boyfriends are just unlikable in pretty much almost every way. The actors bring those characters to life, but the characters are just not good. Yeah, I really like this show. I'm kind of sad that it's, ending for me, but there's new seasons coming out in November, so that's cool. And I'm watching Bunheads, and that's kind of like the same energy, the same creator and stuff, and it's kind of the same type of show, so I feel like that's cool. So yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts on Gilmore Girls as a show. I didn't really want to get into it season by season. So what did you guys think of the show? Have you seen the show? Do you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks, guys. Bye.